It's mid-April and Will Riley still hasn't declared for the NBA draft. Does that mean anything, Illini fans? Let me know in the comments because I would love to know, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here. Will Riley, the ascension in the 2024-2025 season was one of the funnest things. And if you really look at it, him and Kasparis Giacchionis were kind of the same. Kasparis was awesome in non-conference and going into Big Ten play, right? And then he slowly started going down. The turnovers became a big thing. Will Riley, his debut with Illinois was awesome against Eastern Illinois, and he had some other decent games against mid-major schools, but he really fell off in December and in most of January until Illinois went to Michigan State. And while that game was brutal to watch, Kasparis plays 9 minutes because he fouled out, and I felt like Tom Izzo paid the refs. Will Riley kept them in that game, 19 points off the bench in that game, and I feel like since that game he had started to get it together. I think he had a few no-shows after that, but in February and going into March, Will Riley was undoubtedly the best player on Illinois basketball. And, his game against Xavier was one that I'll remember for a really long time. It was a first round game, whatever. It's not like you're in the Final Four, Elite Eight, Sweet 16, and you had a game like that. But that was a 6-11 matchup that a lot of the national media, a lot of the people out there picked Xavier to win, largely because Illinois alone was such a Jekyll and Hyde team. You didn't really know what you're going to get. And we kind of saw that in the NCAA tournament, right? That was such an awesome game against Xavier. And then just all the frustrating things about the season came to fruition against Kentucky 2 days later. And Will Riley had a terrible game against Kentucky, right? So the point of this is that Will Riley, he basically ascended as the season went along. Did it take a little bit longer than we had thought? Perhaps. Sure. Yeah. But it's kind of similar in Kasparis, except Kasparis was high and then went down, and Will Riley was, I guess, high but went down and then went back up. I don't know. Kasparis still projected to be a top 10 pick, according to Jonathan Giovanni of ESPN's in his latest mock draft, which is not a surprise to me at all based off the talent, the skill set that he possesses. And even though he hasn't declared for the NBA draft yet, if you're projected to go in the lottery, if you're projected to go in the top 10, I'm going to assume that he is going to go. But Will Riley, on the other hand, is kind of all over the place. He's not projected to go top 10. I think if he is outside, if he's projected to go outside the top 20, I think that he perhaps could come back to Illinois. And I just think that from an Illinois fan standpoint, that wouldn't be the worst idea for him. Because a large part of the season, I was like, man, this guy needs to get bigger. He needs to get stronger. He's getting pushed around by a lot of these dudes here in the Big Ten. His shooting, his playmaking ability, and just his skill to put the ball in the basket really showed as the season went along. But I still feel like the guy could have used to build up the body a little bit more. And I think we saw that when Adam Fletcher, the strength and conditioning coach, posted that Instagram of his body transformation from the beginning of last summer to now, or I think it was either the beginning of the season or to going into March, and it was a crazy transformation. What would he look like after one full summer with Adam Fletcher? All I know is that the kid has all the talent in the world to be a star in college basketball, a superstar at the college basketball level, potentially a first-team All-American next year if he comes back. At the same time, though, I wouldn't blame him if he went to the draft. If he gets projected to be a top 20 pick, I wouldn't blame him if he went to the draft. So you think about it from the NIL perspective here. Will he make more if he comes back to Illinois, or will he make more if he goes to the NBA? And that's why I'm saying if he's somewhere in that top 20, it makes all the sense in the world for him to go. But if not, then I think that perhaps he could come back. And the longer this draws out, the more I feel like he could come back. And maybe that's delusion, and maybe it's hope, you know. Is it my hope as a fan? Absolutely. Um, I mean, if I look at it from, his perspective, his family's perspective, his number one goal since he was a kid, probably just like every kid who goes to the league, is to get to the NBA. And for all his struggles he had, to transform in season, not only with his body, but with his game as well, is really, really impressive. And to be able to do it in one of the toughest conferences in all of college basketball, I think says a lot. So I think Will Riley, I said a few weeks ago, 10, 15%. Is it bad that I've increased it to like a 30, 35% chance of him coming back to Illinois? I guess we'll see. But I'm interested in what you all think. Does Will Riley come back to Illinois? And how will this Illini team shape up if he does? Are they out on Dame Sarr? If that's the case, is Dame Sarr out on Illinois? If that's the case, I would guess so. Ian Jackson, linked to Illinois, is that out of the picture if Will Riley comes back to Illinois? Who would you rather have? I think Will Riley is the guy I'd rather have personally. But it's going to be interesting to watch these next week or so, because I know the Nike Hoop Summit is going on as this video is being recorded this weekend, and Dame Sarr is part of that. And Illinois is, it'd be interested to see how that plays out. And I just continue to watch and see how Will Riley's decision to go into the draft or not plays out. I would just be really surprised if he doesn't go to the draft, but at the same time, I'd be so ecstatic. And my thoughts on next year's team with Will Riley on it would be really, really, really high. I would, like I've said in recent videos, I would jump immediately to making the highest ceiling, jokes some more, because everyone liked to joke about Illini fans talking about having the highest ceiling in the conference. I'd go right back to it. I might as well just dive into it. Just play along with all the trolls. But I do think that Will Riley would certainly put this team at a new level after one full year of college hoops, playing in the Big Ten, and a summer with Adam Fletcher. The highest rated recruit since D. Brown could really put himself into Illini legend territory with an incredible sophomore campaign and taking Illinois to a second weekend, maybe more, in a year or so. So from a fan perspective, I would love to see it. But I'd also understand if he decides to go to the draft and stay in no matter what. So we'll continue to play it out. But I think the money thing is definitely a big factor here. And I do think the role factor is a big thing too. So that's why I'm like, what is he going to do if Dame Sarr commits to Illinois? Will he still come back and then Dame Sarr decommits? Like, I'm the way this all works these days, it's so wild. It is clearly a wild, 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 wild thing to watch. So we'll see how it all plays out. But let me know your thoughts on Will Riley and the potential of him coming back to Illinois. I think we all would love to see it, but tell me your percentage. 100% being the most confident, and 1% being the least confident. Let me know what you think